So before we start the vlog, I just wanted to hop on here and explain that some of the footage you're gonna see is not necessarily chronologically placed. You're gonna see us going through some of the empty streets of Jerusalem, the Holy Sepulchre, and some other things that happened before COVID-19 got crazy and the government set the lockdown procedures and everything. So I just want to put that out there because JUC is complying with the government's regulations. And so the footage you're going to see is either before those regulations began, and if it's footage after, we are following the regulations and either going to the grocery store or the pharmacy or 100 meters from campus, which is currently all we are allowed to do. So again, JUC is complying with all of these regulations, both off and on campus. And with that, let's get to the vlog. Hey everyone, I'm currently on the roof of our JUC, one of our JUC buildings here, and I just wanted to take this vlog space time to update you a little bit on how this COVID-19 epidemic has been affecting me and my life here in Israel at Jerusalem University College, and just share some of my thoughts and what it's like to be going through this in Jerusalem, which honestly, it's probably not extremely different from everyone else because we're all just staying home. But I still just wanted to give a little update. So basically, our JUC campus is on lockdown in the sense that we don't go out unless we need to get groceries or go to the pharmacy or go for a 10-minute government-approved walk, which we take advantage of. Those are great. So we have to be walking in our little isolated bubbles, not getting close to people. Here in Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu is definitely taking some strict but necessary steps to really squash this. Is squash the word you would use for a virus? Eradicate this virus? So for example, our phones are being tracked, so if we come into contact with someone who is known to have coronavirus, I don't really know how they know that, but somehow they do, or we come into a contact with a large group of people and our phones show that we're there, we'll get a text that says we have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. So we are not doing that. We also could just leave our phones home, I guess, but we don't want to be a part of spreading this, so we are doing our part. And the police are definitely out in the streets checking your passport, making sure that you're going to do something that's necessary. And sadly, several of our students here have already been required to leave by their sending schools or have chosen to go home because they want to make sure that they make it home while there are still flights going to the US, because a lot of flights, of course, are closing down. And I have chosen to stay here. In choosing to stay here, it means that I am willing to be here indefinitely until this COVID-19 craziness stops. So that is, of course, a strange feeling, but I really do feel that I'm supposed to be here, I'm supposed to stay here. We might not be able to go on all of our field trips we had planned to Galilee and Jordan and the Negev and all these places, but I still find myself so thankful for the community that remains here and be on a campus where I get to study what I love. So I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna keep studying. Honestly, if the world ends, Jerusalem would be a cool place to be, I guess. No, that's morbid. I'm not. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna make it through this, guys. I'm still editing and working on posting some vlogs before COVID-19 got crazy. But it's interesting because as I start to post these vlogs leading up to just like 2 or 3 weeks ago, you're gonna start to see how the crowds are getting less, there's less people in the background, and then all of a sudden, now when I walk through the street, it looks like this. So yeah, there's hardly anyone out. I never thought I would see Jerusalem empty. I'd be walking through empty streets in Jerusalem. I've never ever seen Jaffa Gate this empty. All the shops are closed. This is really weird. It's like a ghost town. We're going on the one thing we're allowed to do. Grocery shopping. Yeah, groceries. There is hardly anyone out here. Maybe we probably passed 9 or 10 people. And this is normally bustling. So that's crazy. I even got to go through the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and there was probably like total number of people in there probably was around 20, maybe 20 people. which is nothing compared to how many people are normally in there. So that was strange, but also very special to get to go into the various chapels and go into the tomb place of Jesus and sit and sing and think and have this incredibly unique experience that I don't know if I'll ever have again. So all in all, I know that this COVID-19 can seem like it's paused the world and like it's this huge distraction from normal life. But as I've been thinking about it and praying about it, I really long to not view this craziness and this time as a distraction from normal life. I hope this can be something that refocuses me, reminds me of what's really important in life, and I hope that whenever this does fade, life doesn't go back to normal, and that we as humanity become better through this kind of forced time of rest and self-reflection and having to stop the regular rhythm and even crazy regular rhythm of busyness in life. And so that has been my prayer every day, that I would not see this as a distraction and that God would open my eyes to what He is doing in the midst of this. And maybe this is going to awaken us to a new way of living communally, not just living for ourselves, because wow, we cannot beat this virus if we just independently do what's best for us. We have to be aware of spreading it and aware of those who can't get food. And we have to even think about this when we're going grocery shopping. Are we going to hoard everything for ourselves? Or are we going to think about those behind us in line? I mean, there's all these things that are going on that could really shape us and form us into better human beings after all of this. Human beings that reflect the image and the love of God. And I have been reflecting on the various storm stories in the Gospels, and I just think it's so beautiful and poignant that in every story it seems to be not Jesus' priority to immediately calm the storm, but rather He seems more focused on revealing Himself and His glory to the disciples in a new way. And in fact, in the version in Matthew, when Peter gets out of the boat to go to Jesus, in a sense, he's walking deeper into the storm. He sees Jesus and he wants to get closer, which means leaving the relevant comfort of a boat in a storm behind. Because what matters most is getting closer to Jesus. What matters most is getting to know Him better in all of this. And in the version in Mark, when the disciples are terrified and they see Jesus walking on the water, He says to them, "Do not be afraid, it is I." And in Greek, it literally is just translated, "Do not be afraid, I am," which of course harkens back to God revealing Himself to Moses as the great I am. And just to think that Jesus' answer isn't to necessarily just calm the storm, but it's to be there in the storm and to say that I am enough and I am God. Look to me. So that has been on my mind and on my heart, as I'm sure it is on many of your hearts as well. So all of this to say, I am not trying to just preach complete positivity through this. This is a crazy time and there are hard things about this. And I have been wrestling through all of the uncertainty as well, trying to figure out whether I should stay or go home, and when will I see my family again, and will that be within a matter of months, or could this thing last for a year? I mean, all those questions go through my mind as well. But wow, what a beautiful chance to live into real active faith and walk into the unknown, knowing that God has led a lot of people into the unknown before, and it seems like it's the symbolic terrain where He works best, in the unknown, where we don't get to control everything so tightly and we have to just let it go, let God be God. So I hope that wherever you are watching this, somewhere in your home, hopefully, you're staying safe and you're staying healthy. And let's play our part in this global movement to eradicate this virus, to care for the needs of others, to not just do whatever is best or fun for us. I mean, wow, one interesting event to have an enemy that is not another person or another group of people, but we can come together globally and we can unite at a distance to beat this thing. So let's do that. Let's stay home. Let's get rid of this thing. Let's wash our freaking hands. Like, wow, how did it come to COVID-19 to teach us how to wash our hands? Not cool. And let's keep the faith and keep believing that there is good that can come out of this and it's not the end. So thanks for watching, my friends. I'm going to be posting some more vlogs soon about life before COVID-19 trapped us at JUC, and then probably some updates on what life looks like being trapped here at JUC, because honestly, it's not the worst place to be trapped. Like, oh wow, I'm stuck on modern day Mount Zion in Jerusalem. I won't complain too much about that. So excited to share with you some of what campus life looks like as well soon. But until then, stay healthy and I'll see you next time.